to a new episode of the Shaken and Stirred Show. I'm Nigel Barker in New York City, in Woodstock to be precise. And I know that every week I say I've got a special guest. I know every week that I say my guests are my favorites and all that kind of thing. But this week, and I mean it, people, this week, I have something rather special. Not just are they my favorite guests, but hint, hint, they are my favorite people. And they're giving it away. They're kind of chiming in here. They are also the very first repeat guests on the Shaken and Stirred show. We have never had the same guest on twice, but by popular demand and because I love them. Please welcome my very favorite, my wife, my sister-in-law, aka the Chin Twins, who have a new show. Chrissy and Kimmy, welcome to the Shaken and Stirred show.
I'm so excited to be back. I'm shaken, Kimmy stirred, and we're ready to go.
Now, guys, what makes this extra funny is, of course, it's my wife and my sister-in-law, and we're in the same house. Oh, yes. So we are Zooming from separate computers in separate places. And just then, when they said hello, I could actually hear them downstairs.
We can hear you, too. Yes.
It's rather fun. So we're going to have to kind of block this out a little bit. We're going to have to pretend that we're not close.
We're not being loud. No, we're just excited to help ourselves. We want to get shaken.
I am very excited. I personally am very excited. And so, guys, there's a reason, double reason why. So, you know, for a lot of you out there, you know Kimmy and Chrissy from their Instagram at Chin Twins, which I helped create several years ago with them. And I take all the pictures. I'm the lucky one here. But they have also got a new show, a show on the Design Network called The Chin Twins. Literally after their Instagram account, we have manifested it. And I thought what would be fun, what would be more fun than to talk about the show, how we made it, what it's about, and for everyone out there to get educated in what these guys do, which is they're into yoga, they're into cooking, they're into lifestyle, they're mums, they are amazing. But I want to get into it because there's so many of you out there. This is something that you could do, and the show itself speaks to everybody out there, everyone, no matter what community you're in. But before we get there, what we always do on the Shaken and Stirred show is talk about what we're drinking. Ladies, what are you drinking?
Cheers. Kimmy and I are having Palomas, one of our favorite drinks. Absolutely. It's kind of tropical. Oh, and you're having one too. What a coincidence. Wow, look at that. Cheers, my dear.
Cheers
to Palomas.
And why was the Paloma? Because we actually have a Paloma on the show, don't we?
Yes. So we decided to do a Paloma because last night's episode that just aired, we make a Paloma. And Nigel makes a cameo appearance and mixes it up, shaken and stirred style.
We help shake and we help stir.
Well, we're the assistants.
We're the assistant. We're like the sous, instead of a sous chef, it's like a sous shaker.
Sous shakers. That's what we are. And we love Palomas because the grapefruit juice is so refreshing.
Vitamins.
Yeah. And tequila is always a big favorite.
It's Chrissy's favorite. And last night's episode was kind of, our whole series kind of revolves around the chakra energy systems of the body. So last night's episode was episode 2, the Sacral Chakra, and that color is orange that represents the Sacral Chakra, and all citrus fruits.
So you mean, so last week, for everyone who's listening, it was last week's episode. So current episode, last night's episode will be a different one.
So on this series, we touch on every single chakra of the body, starting with the root chakra, and then we move up to sacral, solar plexus, the heart chakra, the throat, the third eye.
My goodness, we've got a lot to talk about. We've got a lot to cover. But before we get there, let's get into this Paloma cocktail a little bit more. And for all of you out there, I'm obviously fond of tequila. I've done multiple shows on tequila drinks. I've made a Paloma before, but Paloma is, in fact, the #1 most drunk cocktail in Mexico. It's not the margarita, as everyone thinks, which is the most popular tequila cocktail in the United States, but they really don't drink margaritas very much in Mexico. Unless you're a tourist and you go down and you order one, it's not something that's going to be served to you, in large part because of the triple sec, the Grand Marnier, the Cointreau. That's not very Mexican. It's kind of a French liqueur that we add in.
I had no idea. How old is the Paloma, Nigel?
The Paloma's been around for, I think, a couple of 100 years. It's really, essentially, it is just freshly squeezed grapefruit juice with like a sparkling water, or if you're in Mexico, the most common way of doing it is in fact to get a sparkling grapefruit soda, and
I love that.
You just mix that with tequila and then lime juice squeezed in, fresh lime, and that is it. It's good to go, and you don't have to shake it or stir it particularly. You kind of just pour it all into the glass and like whirl it around, and you're off. So it's a super easy one to do, very delicious. And if you use fresh grapefruit like I did, then that really, it does make it a little bit more healthy, but it's not necessarily, I think got too much on the health eyes. But I hear that you've also shaken up you've got some cocktails for every chakra, which is, I think, really exciting.
Yes.
Before we get to the show and all the details about all the chakras and all that kind of thing, let's step it back for a second, because, you guys are yogis. You do a lot of yoga, but you're also mums. You've got 5 kids between the two of you. Kimmy, you've got 3. We've got 2. I think that there's a lot of people out there who were inspired by your Instagram account. Talk to us a bit about that whole process of building that Instagram account, speaking to people, hearing people comment on your posts, and when you realize that actually, there was something there.
I think one of the kind of blessings of this Instagram account is that we are able to connect with people all over the world, and we find this common thread, whether it is through yoga or being mothers or sisters or wives. It's just this wonderful conversation that we get to have with people. And in our posts, we always try to pepper in inspirational quotes along with the imagery, and it really touches people's lives.
Yeah, and well, oftentimes people say that's just what I needed to hear. And usually it's what we need to hear. That's why it's kind of almost like a diary for me. Sometimes, like when we're going through something, we'll kind of work that into our post or the theme or a quote. And then it just kind of shows that people on the other side of the world are going through the same thing. So we're all connected.
There's nothing quite like interviewing your wife and your sister-in-law when you've been along for the ride yourself. But it is quite fun.
You've been there from the beginning.
I know. It's almost like we should reverse the interview or something. But
I think we should maybe. Yes.
Yeah. If you've got any questions for me, we can go along all the way. But I do think it's funny because there are questions too, where, when I'm thinking about what other people must imagine and must see as well, is that, there's you two are the chemistry between the two of you is extraordinary, and it's something which is palpable, and on your show it's very visible. I mean, I've got to say, guys, I'm one of the producers of their new show, which is called The Chin Twins, on the Design Network every Wednesday, 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central. You can catch it, but you will see exactly what I'm talking about. Whereas in every other instance when I've worked on television and and I've done various shows, it takes time for talent to build up a rapport. It's one of the reasons too why I stayed for 18 seasons on America's Next Top Model, is because you build a rapport up. There's a reason why the judges hang out and are friendly together, because we know one another. But that takes time, and it's not easy, and it's something that's incredibly valuable. So in this instance, this show was so magical because of the two of you and your history. But what was it? Or have you always been like this? Have you always had this sharing each other's thoughts, like kind of process all your life?
I think so, for sure. I mean, since the womb,
we were one egg split into 2. Yes, we've always had this connection. We have the same dreams. I mean, we speak on the phone at least 5 times a day.
Yeah, but I don't think it's normal. I mean, I know a lot of other twins, like some don't get along.
True.
I think it's just a combination of our environment. I think we were raised to really never, to speak our truth, but it was not acceptable to really argue. We always had to find a resolution, work together. So I think we really needed each other growing up.
Yes,
we went through some things in our youth, moving. So I think we really bonded because we needed each other.
We did. And I think it's that unspoken language that we share, which is so special. And even in creating the show, we knew it, was going to have a cooking theme to it. But
we worked together,
we formulated this beautiful idea together, and it was a little cooking, a little yoga philosophy.
It kind of evolved. We
Beauty.
worked, it's like a ping pong, like we ping ponged off each other. And Chrissy did a lot of the scheduling and the behind the scenes. She's very organized. So
And bossy.
And bossy. So we know what's really good. We know our strengths, even though we same and act the same. We're stronger in different areas. So I think we really fill in. My weaknesses are her strengths. Some of her weaknesses are my strengths.
And that's in any relationship. I think knowing when to step in and when to step back.
Yes,
It's a dance.
It's a dance, and we ping pong.
It's the recipe. It's the perfect recipe.
And then we hit the ball to Nigel. Boing, boing. So we're a good team. We're a good team. Yes.
Funnily enough, and this is an interesting thing for everyone out there too. When you marry a twin, you're obviously, not that you're marrying both, but you are marrying into the family, right? So and when you marry any family, and when you have twins like yourself who are so close, there is that this very strong relationship that you have with both sides. And I feel that in many ways, Kimmy and I, and we always talk about this, are very similar in many of the things that we like, in many of the things that we sort of want or do.
Did I marry my twin?
And so that there is
you did. You married me.
I did a male version of Kimmy.
That was the male version.
With Jared and Chrissy.
Yeah.
Remember that Halloween? We didn't even know. We dressed up separately and got together, and like you and I were dressed very similar, and Chrissy and Jared were dressed very similar.
I guess we found mates that reminded us of each other.
That's a little weird.
It is a little weird,
but it really makes sense.
It goes in
yang,
because Kimmy likes spicy food. I like spicy food, but Chrissy does not like spicy.
Oh goodness, no.
And I drank tequila with you last night. And Chrissy was having wine.
Absolutely.
And we like chocolate.
No, they have a lot of similar things.
Yeah.
In tastes as well. I know. So
it cool.
Is So take us back. Let's get into this show. You guys have got a show now, and it is the embodiment really of what you did on your social media, but to another level, right? And I remember during the pandemic, we were stuck at home, as everyone was, and we were sort of shooting videos, because we usually shot photography out in the woods, out in the lakes, outside and in cool environments, and they were always yoga inspired, but it was hard to do that at home. And we started to do things like photograph and film you just doing your normal stuff, right? Cooking, baking bread, and all those sorts of things. And that somehow got people's attention, didn't it? How did that happen, do you think?
I think we just had a lot of fun. Like we're constantly giggling. Some of our pictures were just kind of static and a little more serious and editorial and artsy. But like the real us is really, we're quite goofy. We are goofy. I think our audience, at least, maybe hadn't seen as much of that side of us. We had been more of the stoic yogis. Yes. But then when they see us behind the scenes in our own kitchens, they're like, oh my God, we're actually very goofy. And we're not like, we're home cooks, like just like everybody else. And we can follow a good recipe. We like to get creative in the kitchen. So I think it's just kind of inspiring people to try new things and just say, we're all doing the same thing. We're stuck at home. We're starting to be bakers.
And I think too, a lot of people through the pandemic, as you mentioned, were stuck in their houses, stuck in their kitchens, and kind of got a little stuck in a rut. So part of this is infusing the fun back into cooking and doing the everyday, which can seem mundane sometimes.
Right.
But how do we do that with intention and do it in a way that can enrich us as people in the process?
Find magic in the little things. And like we all need to, manage stress and to be more balanced. So I think our goal with the show is just to show people, just by being in the kitchen and organizing your refrigerator, if you do it mindfully, you're actually helping yourself internally to just find a little balance and peace.
And regaining power in your life.
Right, because there's a lot of things we're not in control over. There's things going on, crazy things going on in the world and in our own families and our kids' schools. But the things we can control is, small things.
The experiences that we have.
Yes.
And the way that we do them.
We can throw a dinner party. We can dress up. We can stretch.
Make an old recipe.
And
connect with our family.
Yes.
I do think that one of the charming things about the Chin Twins show is the sort of down-to-earth nature of it, is that it's something which is very accessible. And, there's always been an element of voyeurism to social media, where you get to see the
Yes.
behind the scenes in people's lives. And I think that, you know, the people who've made the most success on social media are the ones who allow you access to them, their every move almost. And to a lot of people, and myself included, that's often too much. I don't want to share that much. But, you know, with the show, The Chin Twins, you really do take people inside your lives. You bring them into your home, our home, and even people like my own mother, my grandma makes a cameo. The kids make a cameo, and you take everybody on a trip to visit every local shop and store and business around us. All our friends are in the show, and I think
Personal.
it's resonated very much with people. I mean, one, the local community is delighted with it, but two, I get emails and calls and texts and DMs from people just saying, this is the kind of show that they want and needed right now.
Oh, that's very nice to hear.
It's kind of what we needed to
special.
create too. I think we needed to create something new, and when there's a need and you feel that need, you're in the flow of the universe.
Well said,
So
Kimmy.
I think that's, we're all connected.
And I would say that this show is probably more personal than our Instagram account even.
Oh, for sure, Chrissy.
Because maybe it's just a generational thing, but I don't spend a lot of time videoing my life and putting it on my stories.
It's a generational thing for sure.
Yeah,
Chrissy.
it's just not something that we're in the habit of doing, but the show is much more a window into our lives
Yes.
and our point of view.
Yes.
So the
And our
interesting thing too,
boominess.
you talk about yoga, but you also talk about, it's not just so much doing yoga, because that has been done a million times, but you get into the lifestyle and what it's like to live in a yogic kind of way, and you get into something called chakras, which I'm married to a yogi, and I photographed you guys. I know all about what it looks like and how to sort of do it, type of thing, but I'm not really that knowledgeable about all the principles of it, because I do my thing and Chrissy, you do your thing in the home, and we don't always do yoga together or anything like that. I like to work out in the dog pound and do my own thing. But this show, you really talk about the elements of the chakras. Now, first of all, what is a chakra?
It is a hard thing to get your head around because it's not a physical thing. They're energy centers that live in our bodies.
Yes. So we all have energy, and it kind of goes back to like the ancient Chinese medicine, like, qi. Do you call it all prana and yoga? It's called prana, but it's just energy and life force that just flows through us. There's these like highways that go through our body. And the main highway is obviously like right down the center of the body. And the word chakra, Sanskrit, actually means wheel. So a chakra is a wheel. So at each energy center, the third eye, the throat, the heart. I'll stand up.
Kimmy's going to demonstrate on her body.
Solar plexus, and then the solar plexus and the root.
Then the root at the
So
bottom.
I guess you can symbolize there's a wheel at each chakra point. And as that energy flows, it kind of spins the wheels. So it's constantly in motion. So these energy centers can become blocked, like the heart chakra. If you've been hurt in a relationship, your heart chakra might be blocked. So if this is blocked, that energy, it's not going to flow and keep going, up and down. And then you just become out of whack. You get depressed. So I think it's just recognizing how energy flows, where it can get blocked, and how that affects your life, the big picture of your life. And it seems complicated, but I think in this show, we're just really trying to just simplify and demystify kind of a big idea and just make it really simple.
For instance, your root chakra, which is the first chakra, your base.
And that's episode 1.
That is
Chakra
the
1.
first chakra. And it has a color, red. So there are things that you can do. You can visualize the color red. You can eat foods that are red. You can do yoga poses, a physical practice.
Grounding.
That will help ground you and feel rooted to the earth. But
Get your hands in the soil, go barefoot in the park. And that's really the first chakra, is the need to belong, family, tribe. That's just our human, the need for security.
So when that's out of balance, what happens, Kimmy, if your root chakra is blocked?
Oh, that's the like anxiety,
insecure, not feeling balanced,
stress, not trusting others.
So through diet, through meditation, through a yoga practice, and through cooking a meal, we chose to cook Chinese dumplings, which is our grandmother's handed down recipe. That really helped us to root to our family.
To feel like we belong
Memories,
to a tribe. It's very primal. Like, all this
tradition.
stuff is very primal.
So through the Chin Twins, the show, we're just taking practical daily activities and applying that to how you can connect and clear your chakras.
Like for the heart, we practice self-care.
Yes.
Well, you know, I mean, I think it's funny because you obviously talk about the dumplings. This is something where, you know, people often see on television, people make up scripts for TV, and they're like, okay, this episode we're going to do this episode we're going to do that. But I can tell you, Chrissy and Kimmy have been making dumplings with myself and with the family, with everybody, as long as I've known them. So 26, 7 years plus years, we've been making dumplings. And, you know, it is literally a handed down recipe from the family. And it is a thing that everyone gets together. Now, when we have friends come over for the weekend, even, we start making dumplings, and we get everyone, all our friends. We'll have up to 20 guests come over, and it's a dinner party where your guests help make the dinner. And it's a really
You created a new tribe, a family.
Yes,
Right.
your friends can be your tribe. And actually, Kimmy has prepared a cocktail for each chakra. So as we're talking about the root chakra.
Okay, so we're in the root. So we chose the Aperol Spritz because it's the color red.
And coincidentally, Aperol Spritz reminds me of the most fabulous Italian holidays that we have done.
did with your friends.
So I'm
It was
rooting
like your
to
family.
those
A memory.
traditions,
Rooting
those
to a memory.
memories. So Aperol Spritz, people, for the root chakra.
So it's, as far as it's for, I like that. I love having there's now a yogic cocktail menu, which is fantastic. A cocktail for every chakra. What is it? I guess when you're drinking that chakra, when you're drinking that cocktail rather, should you be mentally thinking of certain things as you're drinking it? Like, is it
Yes.
is that how it works? I'm just trying to think, like, if it's
You usually don't drink cocktails to help your chakras, but I think picking them out because they're color coded is kind of fun.
Yes, and like I said, I'm grounding and rooting to a wonderful memory that makes me feel secure and safe and balanced. So yeah, the mental thought while connected with the cocktail is
or take your Aperol Spritz outside and get barefoot and walk in the grass and ground as you drink your cocktail. So let's move to the Sacral Chakra, which is all about fun and emotions and creativity. And the color orange, we chose a screwdriver because it's obviously orange, but also citrus is a good food for the Sacral Chakra.
And the Sacral Chakra is your sensuality.
Sensuality, and the same thing as sexuality.
And you picked the screwdriver?
That was
Totally unintentional, but yeah. Kimmy, no pun intended there.
I really did.
But actually, that was very clever today. That was very clever. So if your sacral chakra is not balanced, you might have intimacy problems.
or like a creative block. So if you're like a
Yes.
creative person and you can't write or paint, your sacral chakra. And so you can do hip opening yoga poses. You can get dressed up, put on some fun earrings, go dance, movement, dancing, and
like the hula
hoop.
Loosen your hips, have a screwdriver, and connect with your creative energy.
But don't get screwed.
I'm not quite sure where to go with any of this.
Do. Get screwed in the right way.
Yes. I think
Stop. This is
getting more and more interesting. Hey guys, hence this is why the show is so exciting and funny, because these guys, this is what it's like. There was no scripts the whole time. They would just riff and go on, and it just happens. These guys are off script at all times. Moving swiftly on, I think. What was episode 3, which we haven't got to quite yet? Solar Plexus, right?
Solar Plexus. That is our self-power, our confidence, our fire, powerhouse. So for that, I chose a yellow bird because it's yellow.
What's in a yellow bird?
A white rum, Cointreau, and lime juice.
Ooh, Kimmy, I would like to have a yellow bird maybe this evening.
We should try that, Chrissy.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah, so that's your confidence and your power.
And if your solar plexus chakra is blocked, how do you feel? Like weak and just
That's a big one. And sometimes you can feel it.
Yeah,
Like you can feel
like you're not worthy.
Yes. And a lot of, like, you think about confidence, like other people can hurt your confidence, but like the biggest enemy of self-confidence is our own self-talk.
The little voice in your head.
Like no one is as judgy on us as we are on ourselves. So
Absolutely.
it's like we have to do, and like noticing negative thoughts. It happens constantly. We start to notice like little things you say to yourself, like, oh, I'm so stupid, or oh, I always mess up. Just stop that.
Negative thought patterns. You know what they, in yoga principles, one of the things
Yes.
they kind of associate it with, you know how a record has grooves and the needle runs along those grooves? It's these thought patterns. And the more we think them, the more connected our brain is wired to think that way.
Samskara.
Yeah. So you have to retrain your brain out of those negative thought patterns, get the needle out of the groove, let it skip a beat.
And replace that with positive. So when a negative thought comes up, replace that with something positive. Or just find positive things that you admire about other people.
And connect with your solar plexus.
It's interesting because everything that you're really saying leads more along the lines of sort of mental health.
It's total mental health. Chakras, it's all about that.
Yeah, all the chakras. Because it's interesting because it's not just in the head, where the sort of the third eye or whatever you said, but it's because you're talking about the solar plexus, you're talking about the throat, you're talking about the sacral, but yet it's all actually connected to mental health in many ways. It's sort
very
of
much so.
Back.
Well, the ancient yoga was, a philosophy. The physical practice of yoga came after. So all those poses are designed to help you connect with the mind. So it's really all focused on mental health.
And it all basically led, like the physical practice of yoga was to move the body and almost exhaust your body physically so that at the end you can actually meditate and find peace.
Release the mind.
So the physical practice of yoga builds you up to the real mental meditation practice. And the meditation is what really can bring enlightenment and just like clearing the mind. So first you kind of calm the body by tiring it out, and then you find stillness, and then you can clear your mind.
So Western yoga, I really feel like focuses more on the physical practice of yoga.
It's more accessible to most
Power
people.
yoga. And your body is going to be ripped. You're going to be in wonderful shape if you have a physical practice. But if you ignore the mental side, you're really kind of wasting the tool.
You're only practicing it halfway.
Yeah.
Let's jump into the heart chakra. Is it chakra or chakra, by the way?
So after the solar plexus, we move right to the heart. Such a beautiful, beautiful chakra.
Oh, it's so important. And that they really call this kind of like the middle chakra. It kind of, actually the throat is the middle chakra. So there's like lower chakras, upper chakras, but the heart and the throat are kind of in the middle. It kind of like connects and brings everything together. So, if you don't have self-confidence, if you don't feel rooted, then you really can't find peace in your heart. So you just kind of notice how they're all kind of connected.
Interdependent on each other.
They're all very connected. So I think for like yoga poses for the heart or heart openers, back bends, and just releasing and practicing self-care.
And on the show, our episode focused on self-love, and we visit a spa. Yes. And we also, something that we didn't mention is that in each episode, we do a beauty treatment. It's a DIY beauty treatment created from one of the ingredients in the dish we prepare.
So fun.
It's so fun because it's something that we cook with these ingredients every day, but there's so many things in the kitchen you can turn into.
So while we're cooking, we're like, oh, this could be a golden ingredient. And we just add a couple of other things that are already probably in everyone's pantry. So it's basically free. And then you just kind of have to carve out a little time for yourself after you've been preparing and cooking meals and caring for others. You have to care for yourself.
So we have hair masks and
toners. The egg white eye mask.
We
got olive oil and rubbed it. We got some salt, made a
salt
scrub.
So many good tips in the show.
Yeah.
It's full of them.
Well, the color for the heart is green. So I chose an apple martini that's actually very green, vodka, apple liqueur, and apple juice. Like the apple liqueur is like that bright green.
I love that. I never have green cocktails.
We should try that too.
Honey, do you make any green cocktails?
I've made the odd green cocktail with a creme de menthe, a mint liqueur, which is very delicious, and a little bit of Jägermeister in there with some green ones with the Jägermeister. And I've also done one which is I forget what it was called now, but it has a whole series. I'll have to look it up and actually I'll post about it. So check out Shaken and Stirred on Instagram. I'll post some green cocktails, but it's also St. Patrick's Day coming up.
Yeah, I'm gonna say you need to get your green game up for St. Patrick's Day.
Yes, and that's
and
just
then
not.
you have to include the apple martini.
I will
One
have to
thing
include
about
the
the
apple
heart
martini.
chakra, I will add. A lot of times we just focus on the front of the heart because that's where we give. And being a mother, like we're always giving and care. We're caretakers. We love people, but we don't focus enough on the back of the heart.
And that
So
is,
each chakra has a front and a
is
back.
that receiving?
That is receiving.
Good point, Kimmy. It's
So
not
it's-
all about giving. It's also about
you
receiving.
have to receive.
It's about balance. Right?
Balance, yes.
So we're working our way up the body. We've just done the heart. So now we move into the throat, right?
Throat.
Communication and expression.
Yes.
And breath. So yeah, breath. Because when you breathe, that breath just moves through the body, through the throat. It's kind of like a little tunnel. And that is the bridge between the heart and the mind.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like if you can't communicate and really express yourself, then, and the same thing you can express. Part of expression is listening.
Two-way street.
Two-way street.
Yes.
So-
So in our show, that's the episode where we bake bread because bread breathes, right?
Bread breathes.
All the yeast, it bubbles, it's aerated,
It's airy.
and it communicates love.
It does, Chrissy. It does.
So
I
what's
love bread.
your-
I love the smell of bread. When you guys bake bread in the house, it's probably the reason why I'm 20 pounds heavier after the pandemic is because of all the
I think
bread.
we've all
dear.
got some extra bread weight.
Sorry, honey.
But some good therapies for the throat chakra is singing.
Oh, Kimmy, yes. I want
Should
to
we
do that.
yodel?
Oh, yeah, that feels good, doesn't it? Yes.
Or sometimes just scream. I'm not going to do it, but
Don't
just
scream.
screaming. at the
Sometimes
top of
screaming,
your
just
lungs.
getting it out. Or
Getting
lion
it
pose. Yeah. What's your cocktail, Kimmy, for the throat chakra?
Well, the color is blue, the
Mm.
throat chakra. So I picked the Blue Bayou.
Oh, from
Which-
the south.
I guess so. Vodka,
Uh-huh.
curacao liqueur, which is
Ooh.
blue.
90 has that. I would like to have a
I
blue.
do. Oh, you just told everyone my nickname, so everyone's going to start calling me Nige now. That's what
Oh.
I'm called at home.
No,
I'm
I
a
think
Nige.
curacao. Pineapple
Ooh, yum.
juice and grapefruit juice.
Kimmy, I think I would like a blue bayou.
I think we need to
tonight.
have a Blue Bayou.
I actually think I have all those ingredients as well. I believe I've actually made a blue bayou before on the
Have you
Shaken
really?
Stirred, because I have every one of those ingredients and it sounds very familiar. So we'll have to crack one of those out. Sounds delicious, amazing.
Yes.
We
So-
should do a video series for Shaken and Stirred and make all these chakra cocktails, honey. We have
We
our
will
work
have to
cut
do
out.
that.
You're going to the grocery store in a little bit, so you need
Yes.
to add this to your list.
I'll
I
put it
will.
on the list.
Okay, so then we are moving up.
From the throat to the third eye.
Oh my goodness, intuition.
It's so important. The color is purple.
Mm.
And it is located right here. And you know there is an actual gland, the pineal gland. It's an actual gland in our bodies that is located right here at the third eye.
I'm
So-
gonna massage my pineal gland.
Please don't get screwed.
I was going to say it sounds a little crude. The penal gland.
Okay, yeah.
Anywho.
We all like that little inner voice. That is our intuition.
And,
the
we all have it.
We all do. But a lot of times we just get so used to just because our brains are so noisy with other stuff, we don't hear
We
it.
can't
or we
hear it.
ignore it.
Sometimes our intuition tells us something, we ignore it.
You're like my intuition, Chrissy.
So you too, that's why I call you so many times.
I know, and you sound the same. I'm like, am I talking to myself?
No, that's Chrissy, but
You're like my intuition.
Who needs a little voice in your head when you have an identical twin?
Who needs intuition? Yeah, so that drink is the Purple Rain. Oh, which
Purple
is rain. Purple Rain. One of our favorite movies.
love that movie.
That was the first rated R movie we ever saw.
In the cinema,
Prince has a special place in our heart.
we're telling our age.
That's okay. We're not ashamed of our age.
No, we're not. I love that man. Okay, go on.
Have confidence, Kristen. Okay, Purple Rain. Vodka.
You like vodka.
Again, blue curacao.
Wow, hello.
And cranberry juice, because when you mix blue with red, what do you get? Purple.
Ooh, now, Kimmy, we've got some blue carousel going on with
Yes.
these cocktails.
Yes. So I think for the third eye, meditation,
Mhm.
getting quiet, staring at a candle, tuning in by tuning out. Wow. Wow. I'm going to tune out right now.
What's the difference between the third eye and the evil eye? Is there something, because isn't that on the back of the head, the evil eye?
The all-seeing eye.
All-seeing eye.
Yeah, it has a similar, I think, root in history.
All connected.
It's like maybe that's intuition, because the all-seeing eye, think about it, the eye that sees everything, it's not your physical eye. It's your knowledge and your power. And it was probably called evil because people didn't understand it, just like when they called smart women witches. Right? What we don't understand, we call evil. Ooh, we're gonna have a witch's brew cocktail next. Yes. Don't get screwed.
That's going to be the tagline for this entire show, I think. Don't get screwed. It may have to be the screwdrivers. Next time, I'm going to have to make myself one. Tonight, we'll do screwdrivers. I love that.
We need some fresh squeezed orange juice.
So fun, so fun. I mean, it has been such an experience. I mean, for myself too, because I feel like, I know a certain amount about things like the chakras and the yoga, but when I watched you doing the show, creating the show, I too learned stuff that I had never even thought of, or because I think sometimes the two of you have your own, what you're doing, and your yoga and your sort of, I guess, the way you weave it into your life is your personal thing. It has been very much your own personal, private thing that you do together, but it's not something that I do with you. So I've learned a lot about it because of the show.
We'll do yoga with you tonight, honey. We're going to stretch out your hips tonight.
Let's do that. So let's do. I'm looking forward to tonight even more now. But it's something which I feel like oftentimes partners, couples in general, although you'd think that everyone knows everything about everybody, even after 20 plus years. But it's not so much secrets, but there are things that we just do. We don't always speak about it. And
interests, different interests.
Yeah, and that's healthy. That's how we learn from each other.
But you open up very much in the show. You talk about it in ways that I haven't really heard before, and I think that has been fascinating for me personally. But you just went through all the chakras, and there's one more, right? There's an additional chakra.
Well, there is one, the crown.
The crown, and that's really ethereal. That's like nirvana. But they call that just like you're in the other realm.
And we only had 6 episodes because we couldn't include that.
Had they given us a 7th episode, we would have done the crown chakra. What would we have made?
I don't know.
Maybe a angel food cake.
Because the crown chakra is actually not even in the body. It actually floats above the head. It's not even in us. And that is our connection to the divine.
Doesn't need food to eat.
To the universe.
It's not a physical thing.
To something larger than us. So if all of the chakras are aligned, then we can actually be more connected to the universe. So they're all interlocked. And all the goal of yoga and inner peace and all of this is that connection.
So Kimmy, if you were to make a cocktail for the crown chakra, what would it be? It'd have to be clear.
Champagne, some kind of champagne. Champagne's my favorite.
Yes, Prosecco
or champagne.
Okay.
A champagne cocktail, perhaps.
Yes. A champagne cocktail with like marshmallows. When I think of the crown chakra, I think of marshmallows.
Wow.
Is there a marshmallow cocktail out there?
Oh, yes, there's a marshmallow vodka. I've got it in the freezer. Nigel used it for a cocktail over Christmas.
Remember? Could you put champagne in that?
You could put champagne in it. We'll have to mix
it. You did put champagne. That was your Christmas cocktail, honey. You did a marshmallow flavored vodka with champagne. Stop it.
Champagne and a couple of other things as well. Some sparkling spindrift and something else as well. Yes. But yes, that could be it. We will have to revisit. And I had no idea I was connecting to the divine when I was having that drink. So after a few, you feel like you're connected to the divine in one way.
You have a lot of cocktails to make.
We better get started. You better go to the
I think the chakra cocktail calendar, like we need to do something with this. Maybe coasters.
Yeah, we need to think about this.
You heard it here first, folks. The Chin Twins Shaken and Stirred collaboration on chakra cocktails. It's going to be big. This is super exciting. So much. Where does one go with questions with when you're talking to someone who you're married to and your sister-in-law? But I feel that something like what we've just done, what we've just created, this new show about your lives, about the chakras, about yoga, about community, about family. I feel like that is something which is very unique, not done before, not something we've seen before. It's a cooking show unlike any other. There's the cooking shows and there's cooking shows and there's so many of them. But what you've done is brought together your life And I think that that is something that's very unique and very, very special. What do you plan to do next? Because I kind of have an inkling, but I know that season 2 is already in the works.
Yes, well,
Still
season
definite-
1 was filmed here in Woodstock. So I think for season 2, we're thinking about another location.
Maybe coming down south a bit, possibly to Alabama. That would be
Oh,
dreamy.
That would be dreamy.
Because that's really what it kind of started. The whole account was that we called you City Mouse and I was Country Mouse.
Yes.
You were all the way up here in New York and I was all the way in Alabama. And this account kind of kept us connected. It gave us this project.
It was our bridge.
It was our collaboration. It was our bridge. So it would be really cool to share with everybody where we grew up and somewhere that's so different than Woodstock. But although they're so different in their locations, they're actually quite similar.
They really are.
Small town,
Yes.
community.
Small businesses, homes, family, children.
You've created a lovely home here, Christine.
And so have you, Kimmy, in
Thank you.
Alabama.
We're homemakers and we're
We
proud
are.
of it. Who make good cocktails. Yes.
Who make good cocktails. And the funny thing is that I think you'll find everywhere in the world and everywhere in the country, certainly, we're not actually all that different. We often think we are, but when it gets down to the nuts and bolts of it, you know, people want the same things, they desire the same things, they need the same things. And I think that's something which we sort of touch on in the show in many ways that you guys do. And I think it's fascinating. Look, before we let you go, and I know there's lots to do, we have something on the Shaken and Stirred show called Last Orders, which you have done before, but it's a little different. We've shaken and stirred Last Orders up.
Oh,
And,
wow.
so the questions are a little changed from the last time you heard them. But here we go. I would like to know, if you could drink any cocktail from any movie or television show with that character, what would the cocktail be and who would the character be in the movie be?
Any movie or TV show.
And the person in the show is drinking that drink in a movie.
With you.
You can drink that drink with whatever that drink is, you're having it with that character. So what is the movie and what's the cocktail?
I have an answer. I would be with Al Pacino in Scarface drinking scotch on the rocks.
Kimmy, you are so fancy.
You've always loved Al Pacino.
I love Al Pacino.
Yeah, you've always have. I remember that.
Exactly. These are the things that are we differ from each other.
Yeah, okay.
That
go.
gives me anxiety, that movie.
It does. It's in Miami. We used to live in Miami.
I know, but it's violent.
I know. I wouldn't be doing the other things that he does in the
Just
movie.
drinking
just
the-
drinking the scotch.
She's just gonna have
Michelle
cocktail.
Pfeiffer is so cool, but I wouldn't be doing what she's doing. But I would. It would
You
be
just
fun.
you're there for the Kimmy. You can be in Scarface. Don't
I'll
hide
be
from it.
Michelle Pfeiffer in Scarface.
Wow.
Oh wow! So
You
edgy.
think you knew me? I did think I knew you. Well, I am going to have to connect with the Crown Chakra and have a champagne cocktail with Humphrey Bogart in Casablanca.
Woo!
Here's looking at you, kid. I love that.
Oh Lord, Chrissy, that's so romantic.
Thank you.
I'm in violent Miami.
I
the drug
know.
lord and Humphrey Bogart in Casablanca.
You guys are yin and yang right there. Okay, now in the movie of your life, who would you have play you? And this is interesting because you're twins.
I have 3 people and I can't
Oh, just say them all.
decide.
Just say them all.
Can I meld 3 people 3 actresses together?
Well, you guys are twins, so quite frankly, it doesn't really matter at this point.
Okay.
Let's just go
Or-
Angelina Jolie, Julia Roberts, and Julie Andrews, all in one woman.
That's a cocktail right there.
Whoa, Julie Andrews.
like the sound of
Sound
music.
of music. Kimmy, she is divine. The hills are alive with the
And then I got the
sound.
Tomb Raider.
And I just
I
love
don't know
Julia
where-
Roberts' smile.
You have a big smile.
Yeah.
People always said you look like Andy McDowell when she had curly hair.
Oh, I didn't even think about. I don't really like. I mean, I like her as a person, but
I
I like her
thought
as Isabella Rossellini.
Because she's so
Ooh.
Oh, and Sophia Loren.
and Ava Gardner. Ava
You guys are very different. That's a whole different sex bomb right there. That whole.
I know, right?
Sex bomb.
Sophia Loren.
Am I obvious? Am I too obvious with my choices?
No,
No,
Christy,
not
there's
at
no
all.
wrong answer. This is rapid fire.
I also like Katharine Hepburn.
Me too. And
Classy.
Audrey Hepburn.
Yeah. No, she's too dangerous.
Let's just play ourselves.
Right. We'll play ourselves. How about I play you? You play me.
Okay.
We have an answer. Okay, fantasy dinner party. 3 people, either dead or alive. Who would they be?
Okay. I would like to have dinner with Eckhart Tolle because he's just so brilliant. He is. Deepak Chopra, also very brilliant. And Jesus.
Wow.
Because he's Jesus.
So 3 men.
Holy is right. Imagine that conversation. I have a lot of questions.
You're having dinner with 3 men, by the way, just so you know. That's interesting.
Oh.
There you go.
God. And I'm hanging, and Al Pacino. We're all drinking scotch. Imagine having a cocktail with Jesus.
A scotch with Jesus.
Ow.
Watch out. He might turn the water into scotch.
I would like to hang with JC. I think he would prefer a champagne cocktail. Actually, I think he would just drink wine. He would just drink wine. He's probably
Let's not argue over the guests' drinks. What guests would you like to have, Chrissy?
Holy wine. Okay, my 3 people are Gandhi.
He wouldn't eat.
Leonardo da Vinci.
All these men. Why are we choosing men?
I don't know.
Gandhi, but Gandhi could go either way. Gandhi, Leonardo da Vinci, and then Toga. I don't know if I can. This counts. I would like to have an alien, like someone from a different planet, join my party. That's kind of like Jesus. He's from heaven.
Wow, that is
I would
the
like
very
to have an
first
alien in the
time
mix.
anyone has ever said, "I'd like to have an alien." That is so you, Chrissy. Ever since I've ever met Chrissy, she's always talked about aliens and how she basically believes in them, and I think she even thinks she's been abducted.
I am definitely from another planet. I think Chrissy
is an alien.
Well, I think that means I'm an alien too. Yeah. Anyway, I would love to have an alien at the party, and then maybe they would take me back with them for a little visit to their planet.
This is the wackiest answers to these questions we've ever had, which I love.
Do you think you're an alien? What cocktail would you serve an alien? Something green, maybe the apple martini. Oh. Or the grasshopper. Or a screwdriver.
Go to drinking songs, guys. Go to drinking songs.
Oh. Sweet home Alabama.
We can agree on one thing.
Lord, I'm coming home to you. Woo-hoo. Yeah, that's my favorite. We got up on a bar in New York City to that song. Yes, we did. We danced. And we danced. Yes. We did not take our shirts off.
No, we did not.
We just danced. Good drinking song. Right there.
Final question.
And Free Bird. We're Southerners. That's why we got to bring it back down to Alabama. Season 2. Mm-hmm.
Final question. Shaken or stirred?
Shaken. Stirred. Yeah, Chrissy is shaken. Kimmy is stirred. Not screwed.
Shaken, stirred, not screwed. That, people, in a nutshell, is the Chin Twins. Every Wednesday, 8 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern, the Design Network. You can find it on Roku. You can find it on Samsung TV Plus. They even have an app for it in the App Store.
And YouTube.
You can find it on YouTube on the Design Network channel. And follow at Chin Twins and the Shaken and Stirred Show for more. What a lot of fun. Guys, you know what? I'm married to you. I am related to you. And I still find you the most fascinating people to talk with. And that's probably why we've lasted 27 plus years. Here's to the rest. Thank you so much. Love you both. And everybody out there, have a great Shaken and Stirred week. And we'll be drinking again really soon with you all. Take care. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
This podcast was produced and edited by Embassy Road.